Considering the food chain of international cricket teams across the globe, India and England are the two dominating predators striding the field. Their appetite for runs and wickets result in exploits that cruelly diminish other teams' honest efforts. When both these sides square off in a five-match test series starting August 4th, it won't be surprising if the quality of cricket makes the fans think whether there's any sport that can match test cricket when it is played with such class. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the 17th episode of Cricket Spectacle. I'm Siddharth Gulati, and as always, I have with me Nikhil Deshpande and Dan Gardner. To talk exhaustively on the India-England series, we are joined by Mr. Arshad Ayub, the former India spinner and team manager. Sir, it's good to have you.
Thank you.
Sir, first things first. So, how is everyone in your family? How difficult has been the fight with COVID? And are you all vaccinated?
Yes, most of us are vaccinated, and one is that yes, it was a difficult period, and I went through it, and my father-in-law, mother-in-law went through it. But luckily, my wife and the children, they have not gone through that. And but now most of them are vaccinated, and they have taken the 2 doses which is required. Me, I had taken only one, which will be the other one has to be on the 22nd of August.
That's nice, sir. That's nice. I think even most of us in my home also. So my elders, they are vaccinated with both the doses, and mine second one is scheduled for next week. But yeah, I think it's good that we all are vaccinated, and I'm sure that the process in Australia is also going on regarding the same. Nikhil and Dan.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, we have our second vaccination later this week on Thursday. Yeah, so we're actually back down in lockdown in some parts of Eastern Australia, across Queensland, and more heavily in New South Wales, Sydney, and Melbourne and Victoria as well. So it's quite interesting at the moment. It's a different approach. They're more aggressive with the lockdowns, but it's what we have to do in order to get cricket this summer.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Okay, sir, I'll just cut to the chase now, and let's start, our discussion regarding the test series. So, sir, if I take a look at the forms of both the teams, India played some really good cricket to reach the WTC final. England too did well, winning a few home series and beating Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka earlier this year. So, in the lead up to this test series, how do you assess both the teams?
See, the teams are, I think, both the teams are very well balanced. But England always played well in England. The pitches suit them to their batting techniques and the way they play.
Yeah.
So I think, it does definitely suit them. But if you look at India's progress, if you see that they have been performing well on all surfaces now. Earlier, if you remember, even while I was playing at the time, we were finding it difficult to survive in certain conditions. But right now, India is doing really well in all conditions. And this particular team has got the firepower to bat as well as bowl. So I feel that, both the teams are quite balanced, and it's going to be a very well fought series. And, the series can go either way. I feel that, England, although they have a little advantage of the home, but India, with their bowling power and the batting power, I think they will definitely, make them sweat a little for any victory.
Nice. I'll just take one more question before I switch ends with both Nikhil and Dan. So, sir, absolutely, you talked about, the kind of firepower that India possesses in both the batting and bowling. However, there is this one thing that, I would say that has come to light if I take India's previous 2 tours of England, that the perception was that they might struggle against the pace but not the spin. However, India's series losses in 2014 and 2018 were scripted not just by England's pacemen, which had the likes of James Anderson, Stuart Broad, and others, but also by the off-spinner Moeen Ali, who surprisingly picked important wickets. I was looking at the stats also. So in the previous 2 tours, the England spinners accounted for 30 plus wickets, including Moeen Ali, Joe Root, Adil Rashid also. So, what do you think, how big of a role spin would play in this series?
See, generally what happens is that, when we go to England or even Australia or South Africa, we are more, focused on the fast bowling.
Yeah.
And the spinners, they take a secondary role. And since we are good at playing spin bowling, we take it little, I think, and probably little, we are little complacent there. So I think because of that, we do give a lot of wickets to spinners. And Nathan Lyon takes a lot of wickets. Here, Moeen Ali was their main, spinner who used to take a lot of wickets against in the last tour. I think, but Moeen has not been doing that well this particular season. He has not been bowling as well as he was bowling earlier. So maybe, we will have a little advantage there. But saying that, what I was thinking is that India do need to figure that out. That they don't lose wicket to spinners, and at the right crucial time. That is something which they need to plug in the things and make sure that they survive that and come up with big scores, because they have the power. If Rohit gets going at this point of time in the early stages, I think India definitely will have a really good start. And with that, Rohit is not a guy who stays at the wicket for a long time, but he does play a lot of shots, and he can get a lot of runs in a short time. And that probably will give India a advantage over the England. That is something which I think India can utilize that. And whenever Rohit has scored, India has done really well. So I'm hoping that he can fire on this tour, and it'll make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. I think there are big hopes because even in the previous two tours, as I talked, so there were expectations because of the fact that England weren't at their best. They were struggling. They had also lost to Sri Lanka. Then there was this Ashes defeat also in 2017, 2018 before the India series. However, I think England do somehow manage to find ways to get those big wins at home, primarily because of the fact that they're very much accustomed to the home conditions. But I think and absolutely, India have been favorites, as you said earlier also that, wherever they are going, they are securing those big wins or at least, performing very well, giving the fight. But I think, yeah, this could very well be India's best chance given the fact that England have also, just suffered a defeat at the hands of New Zealand before the WTC final. And I think that, yeah, that might just prove to be a factor in India's favor. However, yes, India did lose the WTC final, but yeah, I think if you look at both the teams on papers, I think India are pretty much balanced with respect to, the batsmen, bowling, or even the, all-rounders that they have. So, yeah, I'll take a back seat now. And Nikhil, please.
So I just wanted to ask you something which I, or maybe most cricket fans, they think of the first thing that they think before a test match is what is going to be the team composition, right? Like, especially for India with such an abundant or a variety of resources which they have at the disposal right now, and going to England where we know what kind of pitches and conditions are going to be. It's going to be a lush green top, not much spin there. India took the chance of playing two spinners in the WTC final bit. Didn't work out. Jadeja didn't get much bowling as well done there. But what would you reckon is the best composition for India to head into the first test with? Would it be four seamers and one spinner, one of Jadeja and Ashwin, or would you just go with five pacers, or like both the spinners maybe? That's a very interesting problem probably that the team management will have before heading into it. What do you feel would be the best plan of action for Indians?
I think probably they will have to go with 6 specialist batsmen, one all-rounder like Ashwin or Jadeja, and probably 4 fast bowlers, because I think in today's time that, one fast bowler, if he doesn't bowl well, then you're struggling in a test match. So you need to go with 4 fast bowlers, especially in England. So I think my combination will be 6 specialist batsmen with wicketkeeper as a specialist batsman, and either Ashwin or Jadeja. Most probably, I think in the first, they should have a look at Ashwin, because he's the main wicket taker. So we need to have a look at Ashwin. And then probably 4 fast bowlers. So fast bowlers, I feel, is that you know, Shami, Ishant, Bumrah and Siraj, if these 4 can play, I think it'll make a really good combination with Siraj as a youngster. You know, he's done really well in Australia, and the way he has bowled with a lot of heart, I think he can make a big difference there also. So I think this should be the combination with probably 6 top order batsmen with 1 all-rounder and 4 fast bowlers.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with the fact that we need 4 pacers, especially in England, right? Because not just in terms of having a bad day, but just in terms of a rest as well, because you can't have just 3 pacers going at it through
all the time,
whole day. Yeah, so there's that element as well. But like you said, probably one of Ashwin or Jadeja, one of them has to be there, because the spin option plus the element of batting which they bring into, because the 4 pacers that you named, they are probably our best pacers, but they wouldn't be contributing much with the bat, would they? So that's so that's the another element. And one thing which I read, and I think Cricinfo had a good article about it this week, is that India has a tail-ender issue there, where the fast bowlers are not actually producing with the bat. So that's something which we'll need to factor in. And if in case, like they suggested, one option was that we could even go with Shardul Thakur as one of the options as a pacer, because he can bat a bit. So that was something which was thrown out. But would you reckon we have Ashwin or Jadeja if you had to pick one? I mean, I know it's an almost impossible task, because Ashwin is bowling so well. He's probably bowling the best in his life, right? Like, especially away from home, he's been performing so well. How difficult would it be to choose between Ashwin and Jadeja? And if you had to, who would you go for in the first test at least?
I would definitely go with Ashwin, because, you know, I'm looking at, you know, although the batting ability, both, you know, they have done really well. Ashwin has got, I think, about 400s, and Jadeja has done really well. But I think if you look at the bowling point of view, only on the bowling point of view, I will go with Ashwin, because that will make a huge difference there. And especially when left-handers are there, few of the left-handers are there, and Ashwin can make a huge difference there. And see, Jadeja can spin the ball. I understand that, but not always. Not always. On a helping track, he can spin the ball, but he doesn't hold the ball that well as Ashwin does. So Ashwin has got more variety than Jaddu at this point of time. So I think, you know, I would definitely go with Ashwin.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would probably go with Ashwin as well, just because the fact that he comes off as one of those cricketers who's very smart, and like, even if the conditions are not favoring him, he'll get something out of it. Like, he will push the batsman, he'll bowl into the rough, he'll try something which is probably probably comes naturally to him, because he started off as you know, he is the prime spinner of India, so that maybe comes naturally to him. But yeah, I completely agree that I would go with Ashwin, 4 pacers, and the 6 specialists up there as well. I will probably ask Dan too, because I know Dan has a special corner for England, being an Australian, so he would have a lot of love for them. So some questions from Dan. Sure.
Oh, well, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's a really interesting point that we're talking about Ashwin and Jadeja as the all-rounders. Do you think so that the lack of a pace bowling all-rounder is hurting the test side? Someone to come in at 6 and 7, you know, take 14 or 15 overs, especially in England, it's different conditions. Just someone with medium pace who can sort of swing the ball both ways and at the same time score runs. I mean, we've seen England invest so much time in Ben Stokes. We've seen Australia attempt to do it with Cameron Green last summer as well. Do you think that's the thing holding the current squad back, Indian squad back at the moment?
Yes, probably. I think, you know, they do need a fast bowling all-rounder, or you can say a medium fast all-rounder, where, you know, it'll help them in getting a depth in the batting. And that, I think, probably, you know, low down, if you can get about 40, 50 runs, it makes a huge difference to the team. And that is lacking in Indian team, definitely. Earlier, Hardik was trying to get a place, but unfortunately he got injured and he's unable to do that. But this four fast bowlers, I think between them, if they can get 30, 40 runs, it'll be a bonus, basically.
Yeah.
So, yes, India is definitely missing one good fast bowling all-rounder.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for Indian cricket. It's different from when you started. Now you have this overabundance of great young fast bowlers coming through India, as opposed to when you played, you had, Manoj, you had Kapil Dev.
That's right.
Yeah, now you've got a true fast bowling arsenal that can match that with your Jofra Archers, with your Aussies, with the South Africans as well. So, I mean, it's quite a transition there. But yeah, do you think we'll see Hardik back in the test side at some stage?
I'm hoping so, because, he has got the potential. He's probably one of the most versatile player India has seen for some time. But it all depends on, how he can manage the injury and how he's able to work on that and come back, in the actual, he has been playing one day and 2020, but I think, he needs a much better effort to play in test cricket. So he needs to work harder on his physical fitness and all that, because Hardik can bowl around 140, which is very good.
Yeah,
and he can bat really well. So if he can focus on that, I think India definitely will have one good all-rounder in the team.
Yeah, absolutely. With the loss of Ben Stokes today, how do you sort of see that sort of tipping the series in India's favour? Do you see that as a major sort of effect for the series for India?
Yes, that's a major thing, because Ben Stokes has always been the backbone of English side. When it is required, he used to fetch some wickets, get some wickets, and also at the right time he used to score those big hundreds, which is a big thing. And definitely England is at a disadvantage here, and India. I'm sure that even if with Ben Stokes, India would have done well, but here I think probably they should be doing really well without Ben Stokes.
Yeah, it's a big hole in their batting, because England have got a very, very brittle top order at the moment, and Joe Root's down low on confidence.
Absolutely. None of them are doing really well. They're chipping runs here and there, but none of them are solid players like Joe Root. The players who can get hundreds. England is at this particular time. They don't have players like that. They are struggling with solid players. So Ben Stokes was this guy who used to consolidate the batting in the middle. Now without Ben Stokes, I think England will again struggle a bit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm not going to be sad about England struggling. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I hope they struggle for the next 6 months until late February, March next year, and I'll be happy with that.
All right.
Just just one. Sorry to cut you there, but just sticking with Ben Stokes, right? So and Hardik Pandya as well. So do you see Hardik Pandya probably with a bit more maturity and a bit more experience? Can he be the Ben Stokes of Indian side? Does he have? Can he fulfill that kind of role, where he can chip in late lower in the order and get those important wickets and fill that void, like you mentioned, which is clearly there in the Indian team right now? Is Hardik Pandya the answer to filling that void for you?
I think Hardik is, yes, probably Hardik is the most suitable person to fill in that place.
Yeah.
Hardik has got the potential to bat really well, but I think he doesn't focus that much. He's mostly thinking of big hits. He's not there to build the innings. In Test cricket, you have to build the innings, and he doesn't work. His mindset doesn't work like that. He has to build his mindset to work like that. And bowling, yes, bowling, it comes naturally to him. But with the struggle, with the present struggle with his fitness, I think he needs to work harder on that and get fitter. Although, overall, if you look at Hardik, he seems to be a fit guy. But because of his action and all that, he's having some trouble, and he's trying to correct that. And once he corrects that, I think probably he will be in a much better position where he can manage his injury. So I'm hoping that he can put up his hand and say that yes, I'm there. I would like to take that place. I would like to be the all-rounder which India requires at this point of time, and let me work on that, and let me help India build that side. Probably if not now, maybe say down 6 months, maybe 8 months later, he might have a chance to play for India, and that is the time that he needs to consolidate both in batting and bowling.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I think his the element of maturity is something which is still not test level for him yet. I mean, he's pretty good with the limited overs. There's no question about that. But like you mentioned, it's his mentality of let me attack each and every ball, let me get those runs. But that's not how test cricket works, is it? Like, it's a completely different mentality. You have to make sure that you punish the loose balls, but there are some deliveries where you just need to put your hands up and say, okay, this is too good for me, I'm not going to attack it, and respect the bowler and the ball. So Siddharth, if you wanted to add something here.
Yeah, sir, I have a couple of questions. So if you take, there have been several instances in international cricket, or maybe, in domestic circuit also, when a team's captain's, attitude has somewhat, defined the way the series has played, or that, particular team has performed. So say maybe, be the case of, Kapil Dev in the 1983 World Cup, or the case of, Ricky Ponting just coming out on day 5 of an Adelaide test in 2006-7 Ashes, and just saying that, a test, which could have proven to be a stalemate. Australia made a match out of it, won that game, and also eventually, went on to win the series 5-0. That was the day, when Ricky Ponting just came out of the dressing room and said, guys, okay, I feel that, we can win this test, how we should proceed, the attitude was good. So considering the fact that, how do you basically, say maybe assess the leadership or the captaincy styles of Virat Kohli and Joe Root? And how do you think, how big of an influence would that have on the impact or maybe the final result of the series?
Yeah, it's a very interesting. Both are completely opposite to each other, I think. Yeah. Virat is very flamboyant, and the way he wants to wear his captaincy on his sleeve, and the way he reacts, I think he's like that. I mean, he's by nature like that. His character is like that. He's very impulsive, but he's I must say that I must congratulate him on the maturity level he's showing these days is absolutely outstanding, and he definitely his attitude is to play to win. He doesn't want to draw. He wants to play to win, even though there is a possibility he might lose, but he still goes for it. That is the kind of attitude Virat has. Joe Root is a slightly safer play, and he wants to make sure that when he wants to win, he should win, rather than risking it. I think he feels that if there is a chance to win, I must win, and if there is a chance not to win, then I must be safe enough to save the test match. So I think both of them have got their different ideas. It's not bad. I think both the ideas are good enough. I think both are working on the possibility of what is best for the team. I think that is what it is required. As a captain, you must see that what is best for the team, and try to motivate the players that way. Show them the way, whether this match can be won, or we have to look at a different result. So I think both have got a different ideas about captaincy, and both are successful, and I would say that different but successful players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think looking at the fact that both are different personalities, and it might just of course have some influence, but at the very same time, of course, even this India's approach of probably not just going for a draw, and draw is possibly the last resort, and just going for the win, and be it be it any situation or whatever. I think yeah, that approach has somehow, I would say, in my personal opinion, has helped India, get to that number one ranking in the ICC rankings. However, I think yeah, in case of England, of course, there could be a case of more attacking approach for them. But yeah, I think that's where possibly a lot of things lie. How the captain wants to function, or probably what decisions he takes, or what the management wants him to do when probably test is at a place when it is evenly poised. I remember that England New Zealand first test, in which earlier this year only, in which New Zealand has set a target of around 270 odd in 72 73 overs. England were apparently expected to go out for the win, but I think England did choose that the safety path. How? But yeah, I think yeah, that's absolutely fine. Just one final question from my end before we probably just end the discussion. So there has been a lot of talk about mental health as far as athletes are concerned across different sports, be it the ongoing Tokyo Olympics, or be it the Ben Stokes pulling out due to his mental health issues, be it Naomi Osaka and many others. Even quite a few Indian cricketers have also come out and spoken in open. So how, first of all, how things were different from, basically, what was the situation when when players like you, Kapil Dev, Amarnath sir, when you went on tours, there was no, case of mobile phones, there was no technology. How did you, first of all, manage to, keep yourself motivated during tough times when you were losing, or, probably not getting those wins? And how do you think, how things are different from now and then? And most importantly, what's your take on the mental health thing?
It's a very long answer, but anyway, I'll
Yeah,
try to keep it short.
we are all ears for it. You can
Yeah.
you can be long. Yeah, that's fine.
See, when we when I took up coaching,
Yeah.
that was the time that when we talk to a youngster, then you say that you improve your skills, your batting skills, your bowling skills, and all that. When we talk about it, we tell them to improve that, and then as they start improving their skills, technical skills, then at a certain point we say that when the boy is about 17, 18, then we say that your skill levels have gone really up. You're doing really well. Technically, you're very sound now, but now you have to raise your mental skills. So when we talk about your mental skills, see, we talk about the maturity level. You talk about how to interact with in the match, that whether you are able to physically see that here there is a situation wherein I have to stay and win the match for the team. Here
Right.
is a situation I have to put my head down and play. So your mental level starts as per your performances, as the way you go on, that your mental level start rising. And the cricketers who actually raise their mental levels are the ones who make to the international level, and the one who are unable to raise that, they stay at a lower level. So here, talking about the mental ability now, we are talking about the mental, I'm not talking about the mental health straight away, I'm talking about the mental ability. Once you get that to that ability, then you are at a place where you can make a claim for in a bigger format of the game. Once you do that, then what happens is that at a certain level, then you start playing too much of international cricket, and too many formats of cricket. Ben Stokes was one of them who was playing almost all formats of cricket.
Yeah.
So, and what happens is that when you get into that, at a certain point of your life, you feel that see, some people, they get a good support system at home, and with the friends and all that, they get a very good support system. And some of them, they don't get that support system. So then your mental health gets little affected by that, and you start taking that extra pressure which is not required. And that pressure actually puts you in such a mental condition that your mental health can be affected by that. And then see, when you go into bat or when you go into bowl, your mental state should be such that that you are trying to give the best for the team.
Right.
And when you're not doing that, that means that there is something wrong. And then what, straight away, your body movement will be different. And that's how, when you're batting, your legs are not moving, your arms are not moving, and you are making too many mistakes because you're confused with your thought process. Once you're confused with your thought process, then, you generally, get affected by all these things. So some people, in today's cricket, I can understand the rotation policy is really good, because the way the pressure is on you, it is all the time. It is all the time. And especially if you see, for Ben Stokes, he's not only playing international cricket, he's representing a county also. And then, you have to take that pressure also. So how much of a, support he's getting behind the scene, it all depends on that. So it is very important these days that, your mental health has to be right. When you go into the match, you are completely focused. You are not deviating from focusing on the match. All these things will count. And yeah, the system, in today's system, that, all the professionals, if you look at world over, not only in cricket, world over, they have somebody to talk to. They have got people who can help them out. And it is becoming common day after day that, a professional needs to talk to is, you can say that, mental health coach, you can say, or, a psychiatrist, you can say, or a psychologist, you can say. But all these people, they really help you to get back into the focus. So the main thing is that you're coming back and focusing on the game itself rather than focusing on other things. So yes, it does play a very important role. The mental health plays a very important role. Although, as I said, that, your mental ability at a certain point of time has to raise up, and then you need to make sure that, you are fit to understand what is going on around you, and make sure that you make the right decisions around you, because your career is at stake now. Once you do that, your career is at stake. You have seen that, especially a few of the players from England, they had returned back to England, from the tour, because Trescothick is one of them, I think.
Jonathan Trott.
Yeah. So I think, these players, they have gone back stating the same thing, that, mental pressure, mental health. And I feel that, yes, it is a very important aspect, because without that, you are not actually focused on the game. You are struggling with that and your process. And then the moment you have a confused mind, then your body doesn't react to that, whether it is bowling or batting.
Right.
Yeah. And I think
absolutely. Just a quick question, sir. That actually leads me into one thing. You talk about, as a youngster, sort of raising your mental game. So you walk out in your Test debut and you're facing Courtney Walsh and Patrick Patterson. What was going through your mind at that time then?
How do you prepare for that? Is there even a way to prepare for that?
For that?
Actually, yes, you're right. Because, during that time, if you look at it, India never had a fast bowler. And we never faced a fast bowler in a domestic cricket. That was the first time I was facing. Although that, before the test match, twice I played the real fast bowling. Was one in 78 when I played Sylvester Clarke in a side game. And then, I played once, all the fast bowlers of, during that time, they were not really quick, except for Covens, I think he was quicker. Other than that, they were, Foster was there and all that. So I played one side game against England also. Both the test matches, fortunately for me, I got a 50 plus. So I had a good look at them. I think, when you go, whatever experience I had, but when you go into a test cricket, till the first ball is played, you're very anxious. Once you play the first ball and the second ball, I think, then you settle down a bit. So I feel that, yes, you need to just have, you need to be mentally tough to go and play these kind of a battery of bowlers. And it was wonderful time, I think, and I had really enjoyed it playing them. Even in West Indies, when I played them, I really enjoyed it.
Well, certainly
I
was.
wouldn't
In the
know
first
many
game, you
people who
picked up
would
5 wickets.
Yeah, and I wouldn't know many people saying facing Courtney Walsh was enjoyable. I don't think many top end batsmen would be able to say that.
No, it was actually, you know, when you're playing well, when you're doing well, although, you know, I was getting 20s and once I got 50, most of the time I got 30, in Barbados I got 34 and all that. But, you know, staying at the wicket for such a long time and, you know, playing them, it really gives you the pleasure that you've played the best, especially, you know, those fast bowlers, those West Indian fast bowlers, Bishop, Courtney Walsh, Curtly Ambrose, Malcolm Marshall, all these players were there at that time when I played in West Indies. It was a treat to play, actually. Although we lost the series, but I think I enjoyed it.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay. I think, yeah, that's about it from our end. So thank you so much for joining us. It was an honor to have you, and it was really enjoyable to hear, you know, your opinions and the stories that you shared, you know, towards the end. And I think, you know, just I would like to, you know, request my fans to, you know, just keep subscribing and keep, you know, loving our channel. We are going to put forward, you know, such content in the time to come, and, you know, whatever experts or, you know, whoever we have, we'll make sure that, you know, we'll have, you know, people, you know, who just come around and talk good and talk very well, you know, about the game. And sir, we really hope to have you, you know, during the, you know, the India-England series, and, you know, probably talk much more upon cricket as the time progresses. And until then, it's on the behalf of Nikhil, Dan, and Arshad sir, it's Siddharth saying goodbye.
Thank you.